At night in the Snow Sect Temple, all the leaders gathered to discuss important matters before returning to their respective bases with their troops. Zhang Yi, with a serious expression, decided to offer compensation for the great losses they had suffered during the battle. As a form of reparation, he donated 2 ice crystals to each leader, the maximum amount he could give. These crystals, capable of awakening mutant powers or enhancing the potential of those who already had abilities, were incredibly valuable. Zhang Yi, who witnessed the event, couldn't help but think that Zhang Yi was an extremely dangerous individual. He accepted the ice crystals, but doubt clouded his thoughts. He believed that the decision to use the crystals was entirely up to the recipient, not Zhang Yi, since Euchre had once rejected them. Despite his concerns, Zhang Yi concealed his feelings and thanked Zhang Yi for the gift. He also offered his support should Zhang Yi need collaboration in the future. Zhang Yi politely expressed his hope that one day, their groups could assist one another. After all matters were settled, each group prepared to return to their base. The 3 ice crystals given were sufficient for Euchre, Sinsin, and Karen, though it was still unclear how much their abilities would develop. Zhang Yi felt unsure about whether he should warn the other base leaders about his suspicions, in case a traitor was hiding among them. As the departure preparations neared completion, Zhang Yi approached Hong Lian to remind her about the information she had agreed to send. Hong Lian gave Zhang Yi a warm hug and promised to deliver the data soon, hoping that one day she could ask for his help. Zhang Yi assured her he would keep the promise they had made. Suddenly, the sound of an argument echoed in the distance. Kai Lei's lover revealed that she had found someone else, saying their relationship was no longer compatible. A confused Kai Lei couldn't understand how she could so easily forget her promise to stay with him forever. The girl admitted she had found someone better, stronger, and someone who could provide her a sense of security. Kai Lei pleaded, pouring out his love for her, but the girl shamelessly admitted that she had only gotten close to him because of his father's influence. Now that things had changed, her new tall boyfriend said it was time to leave, as they were from Hong Lian's base and would depart soon. Even after being humiliated, Kai Lei refused to give up. But the girl then pushed him away and told him a man like him didn't deserve to dream about someone like her. Zhang Yi, who watched the incident, felt sorry for him. The girl firmly decided not to return and walked away with her new boyfriend, leaving the young man frozen in despair. A desperate scream echoed before he ran back to his tent, as if the world had turned against him. Hong Lian and Zhang Yi observed the event and agreed that, although the young man had been too naive, the pain he felt was essential for his growth. After that, they said their goodbyes, and Hong Lian left with her troops. A while later, Zhang Yi saw Li Jian passing by, likely searching for his child. Zhang Yi realized that parents often suffer because of the actions of their children. Days passed, and a few days later, Zhang Yi received a file from Hong Lian, who explained she was currently busy reconstructing her base. Zhang Yi planned to analyze the data with Sinsin and also hoped to persuade Junwoo and his team to stay longer in Guna City, applying pressure on Zhang Yi. Zhang Yi stepped out of his vehicle to meet Junwoo. He found him with Woody and asked if they could speak in a more private location. Junwoo agreed and led Zhang Yi to a quiet area. Once there, Junwoo directly asked what Zhang Yi wanted to discuss. Zhang Yi expressed his hope that Junwoo would remain in the city a while longer, as he felt the mission had been too easy. Junwoo understood Zhang Yi's concerns but explained that since the last battle, there had been no further large-scale zombie activity, suggesting the issue had been resolved. Zhang Yi then asked whether Junwoo had encountered any other high-level creatures besides the white monkey they referred to as the Zombie King. Junwoo asked him to get to the point. Zhang Yi then explained that he believed the true mastermind had yet to be revealed. The battle they had faced earlier was merely a performance meant to deceive them. Junwoo listened carefully, contemplating the various possibilities. He understood Zhang Yi's point, but he needed more evidence before believing that the suspicion was more than just a feeling. Although Zhang Yi couldn't provide concrete proof, his intuition was strong. Junwoo, who knew how cautious Zhang Yi was, realized how difficult it must be for someone like him to speak up. Still, at the very least, Zhang Yi wouldn't act carelessly. Junwoo assured him that if the situation in the city worsened, they would take immediate action. Zhang Yi promised to inform him if there were any important developments. After that, Junwoo invited Zhang Yi to join them in the southern city, but as usual, Zhang Yi declined. They said their goodbyes. Before Zhang Yi could continue his journey, Li Jian suddenly approached them in a rush. In a panic, Li Jian revealed that his child was in trouble, but he seemed confused and quickly left without further explanation. After saying farewell, Zhang Yi resumed his journey in his car, while Junwoo began to consider staying in the city a little longer after the conversation. Inside the vehicle, Zhang Yi hoped he wouldn't have to return to that place again. He pulled out a piece of cloth secretly handed to him by Li Jian. On the cloth, Li Jian had hidden personal matters, writing about what had happened to him and his child, as well as mentioning a sacred tree and a mysterious fruit within the Snow sect. Zhang Yi saw this as a clue, perhaps the key to unraveling the mystery surrounding the Snow sect. Curious about the cloth, Euchre asked what it was. Zhang Yi replied that it was nothing important. Now, Zhang Yi was more convinced than ever that the Snow sect was far worse than he had imagined. At home, Xin spent the entire day gazing out the window, impatiently waiting for Zhang Yi's return. Her sister, Yang Mi, kept reminding her not to wait too long. However, Xin was too eager, wondering when she could finally go zombie hunting with her brother. Her excitement was overwhelming when she saw Zhang Yi and the others finally returning. As they arrived, Xin and Karen quickly ran to greet him, unable to wait to hear about the great battle that had taken place. Karen said that while they were off on their mission, all she and Xin could do was wait at home. Zhang Yi firmly explained that everyone had their own role, and there was no need to worry. He assured them that nothing could harm him. Xin and Karen were amazed by the confidence Zhang Yi showed. Yang Mi then prepared dinner and invited everyone to join. There was no other place in the world where one could enjoy a dinner as luxurious as that. With drinks flowing and the atmosphere lively, they talked about everything that had happened while they were away. Zhang Yi was relieved there were no threats disturbing their home. Karen then asked curiously about the details of the battle and whether they faced any great danger. Zhang Yi explained that his team didn't encounter any serious threats. But he couldn't say the same for the others. He estimated that more than half of the military forces from other bases did not survive. Karen felt sad at the thought that they might be among the few survivors left in the city. However, Chun-Li raised a toast for their victory and encouraged everyone to fill their bellies. They all raised their glasses once more. Zhang Yi also asked Yang Mi if she had discovered any new cooking skills. Delighted, Yang Mi confirmed that she had found a few new recipes and stored the results in the freezer. Chun, having eaten too much, quickly excused himself to the bathroom. Lien commented that it must have been the result of fear from almost not making it back alive. After dinner, Zhang Yi asked Xin to follow him to the control center. A few moments later, they were in the control room, analyzing the data Hong Lien had sent. While Zhang Yi was reviewing the files, Xin arrived and was asked to help go through the information. The file revealed the past of Kong Yi, who turned out to be from a religious sect leader's family. Zhang Yi began to suspect that Yuan Kong Yi, the leader of the Snow sect, had the ability to resurrect or sustain life. He suspected that those who consumed the ice crystals and awakened their powers would ultimately transfer their strength to Kong Yi upon death. Thus, Zhang Yi theorized that Kong Yi might have been manipulating the zombie outbreak to eliminate powered individuals and absorb their abilities. However, Zhang Yi didn't yet have enough proof and asked Xin to further analyze the documents, hoping to find more clues. The file stated that when Yuan Kong Yi was 3 years old, she followed her parents to Tanhai City. That same year, Yuan Suyen and his wife, Kamiko, founded a religious sect in Tanhai. Her father became the sect leader, while her mother served as the high priestess. To recruit followers, they claimed their daughter, Yuan Kong Yi, had divine powers and declared her a sacred girl in their faith. 13 years later, Yuan Suyen and Kamiko died in a plane crash. Their deaths made many of their followers realize they had been deceived, and Kong Yi became the target of their anger. The Tanhai City police managed to rescue her. However, shortly afterward, the girl vanished. After the snow disaster struck, Yuan Kong Yi reappeared as the leader of the Snow sect. She used manipulative theological methods learned from her father's sect to expand her influence and turn the Snow sect into a powerful organization. Xin felt that Kong Ye's past was incredibly tragic. Zhang Yi began to wonder whether Kong Yi could still be a savior in the middle of a catastrophe after all she had endured. Xin thought that after everything Kong Yi had been through, it would be a miracle for someone to remain mentally stable. She even said that if she had been in Kong Ye's shoes, she would have wanted to destroy everything or cause chaos. Zhang Yi realized a few things. Many believed the Snow sect had suffered the most, having lost over 10,000 followers to the zombie attacks. But now, Zhang Yi suspected their deaths were orchestrated to divert suspicion from Kong Yi. Everything that happened may have been carefully planned. Xin questioned the evidence supporting Zhang Yi's claims. Zhang Yi revealed that although there had been no evidence before, he now believed he had found it. Xin was shocked to hear that. Zhang Yi reminded her of Kong Ye's ability to recall powers she had once granted to others. Zhang Yi had accidentally witnessed Kong Yi using 4 different powers, which had been kept secret. This discovery strongly supported the theory he had long suspected. Xin was astonished. She realized that every power had its weakness. But someone who possessed multiple powers could compensate for those weaknesses, making them nearly unbeatable, like a god. Zhang Yi believed the zombie attacks that killed Kang Ye's gifted followers actually benefited her, becoming a tragedy only for others. What was even more alarming was the idea that anyone who consumed an ice crystal and later died, regardless of whether they were a Snow Sect member, would still transfer their powers to Kang Yi. Sin agreed with the hypothesis, although solid evidence was still lacking. Zhang Yi explained that after the disaster, every military base had lost half their troops. And before departing, Kang Yi had given ice crystals to all the other leaders. Zhang Yi suspected that Kang Yi planned to strike them down using the power she had accumulated. He then showed the piece of cloth given to him by Li Jian.